cost of living, economy, public schools, commute, and crime. These are some major things that people take into consideration when moving to a new location. And recently I did a video, is Colorado the best state? And one of the things that we actually ranked poorly on consistently was crime. Now, Fort Collins does an annual survey where the citizens respond how well they think they're doing in certain areas. And recently I did a video that released that. And since 2013, one of the things that we're actually trending downward on is how citizens felt about our public safety, policing, traffic, and crime in general. So today we are doing a video discussing just that, crime in Fort Collins. My name is Patrick Soukup. This is the Living in Fort Collins YouTube channel, where you come to learn everything there is to know about Fort Collins in Northern Colorado: eating, sleeping, playing, working, and crime. Now, we are licensed real estate agents in the state of Colorado, so if you are considering a move, buying, selling, or investing, give us a call, text, or email. We have got your back. Now, without delaying any further, let's jump into today's video about crime in Fort Collins. Let's go. Now, when we jump in here, initially what got my curiosity going was this survey that came out that ultimately was sent out to 3,000 citizens, and around 18% or so responded, which is statistically valid apparently. And since 2013, we have trended downward on how citizens feel about the safety in Fort Collins in different areas. Fort Collins during the day, neighborhoods, downtown during the day, downtown in the evening. And really, it's an interesting ordeal because it ultimately suggests how Fort Collins feels about Fort Collins. And we apparently don't feel as safe as maybe we did in 2013 comparatively to when we felt in 2022 and 23. And there was another question that talked about how citizens felt about certain areas: policing, traffic control, and crime enforcement. Now, these things also were decreasing since 2013. So it's definitely something that I think City of Fort Collins and City Council has in the forefront of their mind of wanting to address and make sure that it is trending in the right direction. Now, in comparison to some benchmark cities, we are actually doing quite well as far as our results, but comparatively to where we were in 2013, definitely something that kind of catches your eye. But really, it doesn't catch your eye, or at least the citizens of Fort Collins' eye, that much, because then there's a question of, if there was one thing that the city of Fort Collins should focus on, what should that be? And number one was neighborhood affordability. And way far down on the list, with 4% responding that it should be police, safety, and crime. So while yes, we're trending downwards on how citizens might feel about the crime and policing activity and enforcement traffic within Fort Collins, ultimately, the citizens feel like it is safe enough or not enough crime or something along those lines to where it's definitely not a priority for them, for the city of Fort Collins to focus on, at least the number one priority. And City Council was really kind of concerned about this when they were going through these numbers and were curious about really what is happening within crime. And I don't know if it was on purpose or what, but then there was a City Council work session a few weeks later where Chief Jeff Swoboda came in and discussed exactly how statistically Fort Collins is doing in the crime area. Now, overall, there are persons crime, crimes against society, and property crime. Those are the three main categories that crimes get broken down into. And overall, our crime is down 4%. And this is not including our population growth. Now, this is since 2017, and our population has increased. So overall, our crime incidents are down 4%. Now, broken down, our persons crime, rape, murder, violent crimes are down 1% since 2017. Property crime, burglary, ID theft, robbery are down 8% since 2017. But our crimes against society, now these are drug offenses and weapon charges, are up 19%, with an overall ranking down 4%. Persons crime for me is definitely one of the, I think, scariest. I'm not sure why, but it just is. And what this equates to being down the 1%, but ultimately it's 10 persons crime per 1,000 people. And we go against benchmark communities and we really fall kind of right in the middle. So there's lots of different communities: Boulder, Plano, Texas, there's places in Illinois, Oklahoma. We have different communities that all contribute data to this. And we kind of fell right in the middle of the pack at 10 persons crime per 1,000 people in Fort Collins. And what was interesting is Jenny Art kind of jumped in here and said, actually, we are one of the only communities in Colorado with crime trending downward. But one of the areas that is especially of concern or specific attention was crimes that were performed by those individuals considering themselves homeless or transient individuals, where any 1 year they could account for 16 to 22% of the crime in Fort Collins. And in 2018, this was 1,931 citations. And in 2022, it was 2,180 citations. The majority of these citations are going to be trespassing or loitering, and it's going to be generally along the Mason corridor, but it's also kind of spread out east and west along Prospect Road. And it's interesting to really consider lots of different things of why this could be. But it's concerning to see, it kind of spread out the transients. And actually, Chief Jeff Swoboda said that there's times where they pick up a homeless individual or a transient individual, which is specific. You do need to really understand there is a difference. There are individuals who are experiencing homelessness that absolutely need help. We want to get them in the right resources and help them get back on their feet. Transients are those individuals who potentially choose to be homeless and choose to live that lifestyle. Now, that could be over the amount of years that they've been homeless, that they've just kind of succumbed to that idea. But whether it's mental health, drug addictions, those individuals do account for 16 to 22% of the crimes within Fort Collins on an annual basis. Now, and those individuals can find their way to Fort Collins many different ways. Actually, there's some that have been picked up that said a church from another community dropped them off here. They put them on a bus, paid the bus ticket, sent them up to Fort Collins or down to Fort Collins, and cities doing the exact same thing. So definitely not something that's very exciting, but hopefully something that we can address and are addressing through our Larimer County Behavioral Health Center that's opening up in January of 2024, Outreach Fort Collins, who are building relationships with these individuals, City of Fort Collins Police, who are addressing this as well. So I think we are definitely addressing it head on. But one of the reasons why maybe that the transient incidences are increasing is because over the last few years, since really COVID, our Max Fort transit system is free to the public. So they can essentially get on and drive any public bus in Fort Collins for free and get around relatively easy. Now, if you are a part of a crime or involved in some sort of situation, there are different priority levels to these crimes. Priority 1, 2, and 3. Priority 2 and 3, traffic stops and accidents and things of less, priority. But priority 1, violent person crimes, things of that nature that definitely deserve a high amount of attention. And Fort Collins has an average call time of under 5 minutes, and it blows out our benchmark communities. So we put a huge focus on our priority 1 calls. We get 18 calls per month at our priority 1 calls, an average under 5 minutes. Now that's from a hello to a hello. Hello, this is Fort Collins Police. How can we help you? Or what's the nature of your call? To hello, my name is Officer, such and such. We are here to help. That is the response time for a priority 1 call, and we absolutely crush our benchmark cities, averaging under 5 minutes for those calls. Priority calls 2 and 3, we actually lack against our benchmark communities. So if you do happen to have a call for a traffic stop or something along those lines, and it does take 30 to 45 minutes, that could be very, very well be the case. But if you're in a serious crime, a serious situation, City of Fort Collins Police is going to get there and get there quick. So now Jeff Swoboda really kind of changed gears and really focused on 2 of our main concerns from questions through City Council. And this was our overdose deaths, our drug issue in Fort Collins, and also our traffic enforcement citations and stops. These are things that were priorities of the City of Fort Collins. And since January 22 until August 2023, there was 57 deaths, overdose deaths in the City of Fort Collins, averaging 3 per month. Now, 36 of those 57 are somehow related to fentanyl. It was wild to hear some of this information. I don't know much about drugs. I have a family history where I definitely was knowledgeable about how much drugs can impact families' lives, and it was on the meth side of things. So very sad to see and very fortunate that my family was able to kind of get through that time period and on the backside, and everyone's healthy, safe, happy, and sober. So very thankful for that. But fortunately, it wasn't during a time where fentanyl was such a problem. In fact, Chief Swoboda said that if you buy in bulk, which I don't know what that means, but if you buy in bulk, you could get pills from Denver for under $1 per pill. And those individuals that are addicted to fentanyl will take anywhere between 1 to 12 pills, smoke per day. So really an extremely, extremely affordable drug, but because they're not produced in a lab, the potency can be all over the place, and that's what results in these deaths. Also, individuals would go to jail, come out, they would lose their tolerance for these pills, and where they were maybe smoking or taking 12 pills a day, they went right back to it, and their body didn't have the tolerance and OD'd. Definitely a concern of Fort Collins. They are trying to figure out where the sources are. They believe they are coming from south of the border. The chemicals are being produced in China. So it is a problem across the United States, and the city of Fort Collins definitely wants to address it. There's no particular individual. Average age of the person dying in Fort Collins from fentanyl overdose is 41 years old. White, Black, Hispanic, Asian, no specific population there. One thing that's terrifying having kids is they call them the blues or even Skittles, because typically the fentanyl pills are blue, but they're coming in multiple colors now, and kids are getting their hands on it, and that is just absolutely terrifying to me. And hopefully that we can educate our kids and know never to take anything that was given to them from somebody else, whether it's an older brother, sister, whatever. Definitely a scary deal, but Fort Collins is trying to address it head on. Now, two things that City of Fort Collins police that are doing real quick before I get into some of the traffic and speeding and red light tickets that they did is there is a neighborhood watch, essentially, that if you have a camera, a Ring camera, Nest camera, whatever, on your house, and you have cameras facing out to the street or behind you, whatever, you can log on and basically provide your address saying, hey, I have an outdoor camera. If there is a crime, you can reach out to me and I can provide you video footage or pictures. That doesn't necessarily mean that the city of Fort Collins has access to your cameras, but if something were to happen, say between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., they might ask you or reach out to you, call or text and say, hey, can you check your camera between 2 and 3 a.m.? And if you happen to have anything, please send that on to us. I thought that was super, super cool and interesting, and just a way to police your own neighborhoods. Get active. That's what these videos are for, is to inform, to help you understand when you move here or if you are living here, what you can do to help make your neighborhood safer. Additionally, City of Fort Collins will actually come out to your property and do basically a safety crime test. Hey, cut back these bushes. If you put a camera here, if you get a dog, the different things and ideas to help you make your property safer if maybe it's in a higher trafficked area or transients are in and around the area more often than not. I'm on the southeast side of town. Doesn't really happen too much. More so kind of misdemeanor type opportunities for young kids, TPing and being loud, ding-dong ditching, but we haven't necessarily had any issues on our side. But if you're in the downtown area, I would absolutely leverage that resource that the city of Fort Collins is offering to the citizens of Fort Collins. All right, and finally, our traffic citations, which is a priority to the city of Fort Collins per city council. And since 2017, our traffic citations have almost cut into a third. And while there's no real reason or hard data as to why, the theories from Chief Swoboda were, hey, since 2017, we are all wearing now cameras, and there's police officers that are concerned about discrimination, and maybe that they know that they're on camera and have to act a certain type of way or ask being questions. But it has been cut into a third for traffic citations, and the theory is that these on-person cameras are a potential reason why they've been cut into a percentage of what they were. Now, City of Fort Collins has increased from 2 to 4 speed vans. Our au pair coincidentally got a speeding ticket in the neighborhood not too long ago. Didn't know what they were looking for, and I think it was going like 9 over, and it was $40. So they send you a ticket through the mail saying, hey, here you go. And additionally, we've also moved from 4 to 6 red light cameras. Prospect and Shields being the highest amount of tickets given, 500 to 600 red light cameras given each month. And we've added 2 more red light cameras. If you'd like, I can tell you what those are, but there are major intersections: College and Drake, let's see here, Drake and LeMay, Harmony and Shields, While I'm at it, Harmony and Timberline, and Prospect and Shields. I think those are the three. So those are gonna be some things that City of Fort Collins Police can reduce the amount of time spent on traffic citations, leveraging traffic stops or red light cameras, and leveraging speed vans to help eliminate the time required for that. Now, the state of Colorado actually is the worst ranked for property crime when it comes to stolen vehicles. And the vehicles most stolen are Kias, F-150s, and Hondas. And I own a Kia Telluride and an F-150. So I guess we absolutely have to be on the lookout for that. Insurance rates have increased on Kias, I can tell you that, 100%. But overall, the traffic citations have decreased substantially. They're trying to reduce the amount of time spent from police officers by speeding vans and red light tickets. And so that's definitely a priority of City of Fort Collins, but we're addressing it in different ways with different resources. So overall, Fort Collins seems to be doing pretty well. While yes, numbers are trending downward on how the citizens of Fort Collins feel about the crime within Fort Collins, generally speaking, it looks like our actual crime rates are decreasing, our resources are being increased and distributed probably more efficiently. And overall, the City of Fort Collins definitely has a good thought of how to address crimes within Fort Collins and how best to use our resources. So while the state of Colorado might not necessarily be doing so lovely, City of Fort Collins in Northern Colorado is doing quite well. Thank you for watching. Until next time, everybody, take care.